Today, we're diving into one of the most elegant, kind of paradoxical, and absolutely essential processes in all of biology, the secret art of self-destruction. Okay, so let's start with a really basic question. How does a body build itself? When you think about construction, you probably think about adding stuff, right? Like bricks for a house or cells for a body. But what if I told you that's only half the story? Because it turns out the real secret to creating something as complex and beautiful as a living being isn't just about growth. It's about careful, deliberate, and targeted destruction. To really get this, we need to meet life's master sculptor. See, this is a process that doesn't add clay to make a statue. Instead, it carves away the excess stone to reveal a masterpiece. And that process is called apoptosis. Now, apoptosis is not some messy, chaotic accident. Nope, it's a clean, quiet, and genetically programmed series of events. It's like a cell gets a scheduled demolition notice. It then neatly packages itself up, all ready to be carried away by scavenger cells without causing any inflammation or damage to its neighbors. It's the body's ultimate quality control system. So how does a cell even get this demolition notice? Well, our master sculptor has two primary techniques in its toolkit, two main ways to get the process started. First, you've got the intrinsic pathway. You can think of this as an inside job. The cell itself realizes something is seriously wrong. Maybe its DNA is damaged beyond repair, or it's just not getting the right signals to survive, and it makes the heroic decision to take one for the team. Then you have the extrinsic pathway. This is more like an order from the outside. A signal from another cell, usually the immune system, latches onto a death receptor on the cell's surface and delivers a very clear message. It's time to go.
Whoa, okay, I know this slide looks like a super complicated subway map, but don't worry about all the details. The key takeaway here is actually pretty simple. Whether the order comes from inside the cell or from the outside, both paths lead to the exact same place. They flip the switch on a family of enzymes called caspases. Just think of these as the executioner proteins, the cell's own little demolition crew that comes in and systematically dismantles the place.
And this is where it gets truly amazing. This whole process of controlled destruction isn't just for cleaning up damaged cells. It is absolutely fundamental to how we're built in the first place. So let's take a look at a few masterpieces sculpted by apoptosis while we're still developing. First up, one of the most classic and just incredible examples, how we get our hands and feet. Believe it or not, your hands actually started out as solid, paddle-like little mitts in the womb. The only reason you have 5 separate fingers is because apoptosis kicked in for all the cells that made up the webbing in between them. In these very specific zones, cells died on command, literally carving out the individual functional digits that we have today. Wild, right? Okay, so that's our external shape, but this sculpting works on an even more intricate level. Let's look at how this exact same process helps build the single most complex structure we know of, the human brain. You might think building a brain is all about growth and making connections, but it turns out it's just as much about subtraction. Get this. During development, our body overproduces neurons by a lot. In fact, up to half of all the neurons that are created will eventually be eliminated by apoptosis. So why? Well, it's basically a competition. Neurons that don't make the right connections to their targets, they don't get the survival signals they need, so they get pruned away. This process is what creates a leaner, faster, and way more efficient neural network. It's like editing a book to make the story stronger. So from our hands to our brains, this destructive art is just everywhere. It even shapes our most vital pump, the heart. The heart starts out as just a simple tube. That's it. To become the powerful, 4-chambered organ it needs to be, it has to go through this massive remodeling. And apoptosis is absolutely crucial here. It helps form the walls that separate the chambers, it sculpts the valves to make sure blood flows in the right direction. It basically carves and refines this simple tube into a high-performance engine. So, you can probably guess that a process this powerful has to be perfectly balanced. What happens when the sculptor's hand slips and there's either too much cell death or not nearly enough? Well, if there's too little apoptosis, cells that should be eliminated end up sticking around. This is a classic hallmark of cancer, where cells just refuse to die and multiply like crazy. It can also cause developmental issues like webbed fingers. But on the flip side, Too much apoptosis can be just as devastating, contributing to degenerative diseases where healthy cells die off when they shouldn't.
And this delicate balance, it's fragile. It can be disrupted by external factors. For instance, research has shown that high blood sugar in the mother can trigger way too much apoptosis in an embryo. We also know that ethanol is a teratogen, a substance that causes birth defects, in part because it can set off widespread cell death in the fetal brain. It just goes to show how sensitive this whole sculpting process really is.
This really brings us right back to the core idea, which is summed up so perfectly here by researcher Hannah Fioramonti. Cell death isn't the enemy of life. It's an essential partner. It is a key cellular process that makes the incredible journey from a single cell to a fully formed organism even possible. And here's the kicker. This process didn't just stop when you were born. It's happening inside you right now. Billions of your cells are undergoing apoptosis every single day, clearing out old cells, getting rid of potentially cancerous ones, and just generally keeping you healthy. So the next time you look at your own hands, remember the incredible, invisible art of destruction that not only built them, but is working at this very moment to keep you alive.